You eat a banana every morning, maybe two. You peel it, you eat it, you move on with your day. It requires zero thought. It is, by most accounts, one of the most boring food decisions a person can make. So here's the question nobody actually asks. What would happen if that boring decision became your only decision, every single day, for an entire year? Not as a punishment, not as a stunt, but as a genuine experiment in what your body can and cannot survive on. Because here's the thing, bananas aren't nothing, they're real food. They have calories, potassium, fiber, vitamins. People have called them nature's perfect snack. So what actually happens when a human being eats only bananas for 365 days straight? Does the body adapt? Does it fight back? And at what point does nature's perfect snack become something your body genuinely cannot work with? The answer is stranger than you think, and it goes in directions that will surprise you. On day one, you wake up. You eat bananas for breakfast. This feels fine, maybe even kind of fun, like a challenge you've decided to take seriously. Your body has no idea yet what's coming. It's running on yesterday's reserves, digesting normally, doing exactly what it always does. Here's what your body expects every morning. A mix. Proteins, fats, carbohydrates, a handful of micronutrients it uses for hundreds of different jobs. It doesn't need everything at once. It's flexible. It's been flexible for hundreds of thousands of years. But it does expect variety. It expects options. What it gets on day one instead is sugar, fiber, potassium, a little vitamin B6, some vitamin C, and almost nothing else. No fat, almost no protein, no vitamin B12, no vitamin D, no calcium, no iron, no zinc. Your body notes this, files it away, keeps going. Day two, same thing. Day three, same thing. By day four, your digestive system is already starting to shift. Bananas are about 75% carbohydrates, mostly in the form of natural sugars and starch. That means your blood sugar is spiking and dropping in a very specific rhythm. Up after you eat, down a couple hours later, up again. Your pancreas, the organ behind your stomach that regulates blood sugar, is working hard. Every spike means it pumps out insulin. Every drop means you're hungry again faster than you expected. By day five, you've noticed something. You're hungry constantly. Not starving, just never quite satisfied. This is your body telling you something important, and it's worth understanding why. A medium banana has about 100 to 120 calories. To maintain a normal adult body, to keep your heart beating, your lungs working, your brain running, you need somewhere between 1,600 and 2,500 calories a day, depending on your size and activity level. That means you'd need to eat somewhere between 14 and 20 bananas a day just to break even on energy. Most people in this experiment can't physically manage that many. So by the end of the first week, almost everyone eating only bananas is running a calorie deficit, meaning your body's burning through its own stored energy just to keep you alive. And here's the small surprise that ends the first week. You feel okay. Not great, not strong, but okay. Because your body has reserves, and it's smart about using them. By week three, something strange is happening to your gut. Your gut is home to roughly 38 trillion bacteria, more bacteria than cells in your entire body. They're not passengers, they're workers. They help you digest food, produce certain vitamins, regulate your immune system, and even influence your mood through something called the gut-brain axis, which is exactly what it sounds like, a direct communication line between your digestive system and your brain. These bacteria eat what you eat. And right now, all they're getting is bananas. Bananas are high in a specific type of fiber called fructooligosaccharides. That's a complicated name for a simple concept. It's sugar that your body can't digest, so it passes down to your gut bacteria who can. Certain species of gut bacteria love this. They multiply. Other species, the ones that thrive on a more varied diet, start to shrink. Your gut microbiome, which is essentially a rainforest of microbial biodiversity, starts to look more like a field with a handful of dominant species and not much else. What does this mean for you? By week 3, your digestion is probably smoother than it's ever been in your life. Bananas are easy to digest. Your gut has settled into a quiet, efficient rhythm. Bloating is gone. Irregularity is gone. Here's what nobody expects. Week 3 feels kind of good, but the data underneath that feeling tells a different story. By the end of the first month, your body has entered what researchers call an adaptive state. It's not thriving, but it's not panicking either. It's done something remarkable. It's reorganized. Your metabolism, the rate at which your body burns energy, has slowed down. Not by a little, by a measurable, significant amount. Your body has essentially done what any smart system does when resources are limited. It cut expenses. Your core temperature might be running slightly lower. Your heart rate might have dropped. Your body's running leaner, quieter, more efficiently because it has to.
This is called metabolic adaptation, and it's one of the most sophisticated things your body does. Think of it like a factory that's been told the supply chain is disrupted. It doesn't shut down. It figures out how to keep producing the essential products with less raw material. It cuts waste. It repurposes. It improvises. Month 3. Something genuinely surprising is happening with your blood pressure. Bananas are famously high in potassium. A single medium banana has about 422 milligrams of potassium, roughly 12% of what you need in a day. If you're eating 12 to 15 bananas a day to get enough calories, you're taking in somewhere between 4,000 and 6,000 milligrams of potassium daily. That's double the recommended intake, maybe more. Potassium is one of the key minerals that helps regulate blood pressure by counterbalancing sodium. Most people eat too much sodium and not enough potassium. You are the opposite. Your sodium levels are low, your potassium levels are high. The result? Researchers who have studied high potassium, very low sodium diets have found consistent, significant drops in blood pressure. By month 3 on a banana-only diet, your blood pressure is almost certainly lower than it's ever been. If you started with hypertension, high blood pressure, that number might have normalized. Your cardiovascular system in this one specific measurement is doing better. This is the twist. This is the part that doesn't fit the expected narrative. Your cardiovascular system is improving in the middle of an experiment that is simultaneously depriving your muscles of protein, starving your brain of fat, and quietly counting down a clock on your B12 stores. Your body is getting both better and worse at the same time, in different systems, at different rates. And here's the part nobody expects. Your relationship with hunger has fundamentally changed by month 3. The constant mild hunger of week 1 has leveled off into something different, a kind of background quiet. Not because you're satisfied, but because your body has recalibrated its hunger signals around the only food available. Your hunger hormones, ghrelin, which triggers appetite, and leptin, which signals fullness, have adjusted their baseline. Your body has essentially accepted the new normal and stopped sending emergency signals that nothing is coming. It's adapted. And that adaptation is both impressive and slightly alarming. Month 4. Let's talk about your bones. Your skeleton is not static. It is not a fixed frame that your body builds in childhood and then uses forever. It is a living tissue that is constantly being broken down and rebuilt. Old bone is dissolved by cells called osteoclasts. New bone is laid down by cells called osteoblasts. Every 10 years, roughly, your entire skeleton has been replaced. This process requires calcium, it requires vitamin D, it requires phosphorus, it requires a handful of other minerals in specific ratios.
Bananas have some phosphorus. Bananas have almost no calcium. And if your vitamin D is dropping, your body's ability to absorb what little calcium is around is also dropping. By month 4, your bone turnover, that constant cycle of breakdown and rebuilding, is running at a deficit. You're breaking down old bone faster than you're building new bone because the building materials aren't there. You can't feel this. That's the thing about bone loss. It's silent. Your bones don't hurt. You don't notice anything. You go about your life, eating your bananas, maybe feeling pretty good in some ways. And underneath that, your skeleton is slowly, very slowly, losing density. This won't cause a fracture in month 4, maybe not for years, but the trajectory has begun. Meanwhile, something else is happening in your kidneys. Your kidneys are the organs that filter your blood and balance electrolytes, the minerals that control fluid balance, nerve function, and muscle contraction. With potassium intake this high and sodium intake this low, your kidneys are working constantly to maintain balance. They're excreting excess potassium as fast as they can, while holding on to every trace of sodium. For most people, this is manageable. The kidneys are remarkably good at this job. But in some people, particularly those with any underlying kidney issues, hyperkalemia can develop. Hyperkalemia just means too much potassium in the blood. And too much potassium in the blood at extreme levels can interfere with heart rhythm. This isn't inevitable, but it's real, and it's worth knowing. Month 5. Your muscle mass is measurably lower than it was at the start of the year. Not dramatically, your body has been careful, strategic, preserving what it can. But if you stepped on a body composition scale, the numbers would show it clearly. You've lost lean mass, the kind of mass that makes you strong, that supports your joints, that holds your posture, that burns calories even when you're sitting still. And here's what makes this particularly interesting from a biology standpoint. Losing muscle mass lowers your metabolic rate further, which means your body now needs even fewer calories to maintain its current state, which means the calorie deficit you started with has partially closed, not because you're eating more, but because your body has become more efficient, partly by becoming smaller. This is a feedback loop, and it's one of the core reasons that extreme dietary restriction tends to make the body less resilient over time, not more. Your body has optimized for the current environment, but the current environment is producing a body that is quieter, slower, and more fragile than the one you started with. By month 5, your skin might be telling a story too. Vitamin A, which you need for skin cell turnover, is found in bananas in small quantities, but not enough for months of exclusive use. Some people in extreme elimination diets notice dryness, flaking, a dullness that doesn't respond to moisturizer. This is your skin's outer layer, the epidermis, not renewing itself efficiently because the raw materials aren't quite there. Your hair might be thinning, not dramatically, but noticeably. Hair follicles are among the most metabolically active structures in your body. They're some of the first things to go quiet when nutrition gets restricted. The medical term is telogen effluvium, which means a large number of hair follicles simultaneously entering the resting phase and stopping growth. It's temporary, but it's a signal that your body is choosing to divert resources away from non-essential systems. Hair in a survival context is not essential. Month 6. Halfway. This is a point where researchers studying long-term elimination diets consistently find the most complex picture, because by month 6, the body has made every adaptation it can make, and the remaining deficiencies are the ones it genuinely cannot compensate for. Let's talk about your brain again. By now, your fatty acid intake has been critically low for 6 months. Your brain has been doing its best, redistributing, adapting, using whatever it can find. But there are specific fatty acids, particularly DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, that your brain cannot synthesize in adequate quantities on its own. DHA is found in fatty fish, in eggs, in certain nuts. It is not found in bananas in any meaningful amount. DHA is essential for the structure of brain cell membranes. Low DHA is associated with slower cognitive processing, increased risk of depression, and reduced neuroplasticity, which is your brain's ability to learn new things, form new connections, reorganize itself in response to experience. 6 months in, your brain isn't broken, but it is operating with less raw material than it needs for optimal function. The people who have reported on extended fruit-only diets consistently describe a subtle mental fog, not inability to function, but a sense that thinking is slightly harder than it used to be. Those ideas come a little more slowly. Those emotions feel slightly flattened. This is because your brain is not fat enough. And here's the reframe that changes how you've been reading this whole video. The things that are going wrong aren't going wrong because your body is weak. They're going wrong because your body is doing everything right. It is prioritizing. It is protecting. It is making the best possible decisions with what it has. The damage isn't from failure. The damage is from success, from a system doing exactly what it's designed to do for long enough that the costs of those decisions start to stack up. Months 7 through 9. The picture stabilizes, but not in the way you'd hope. Your body is now in a kind of holding pattern. It's been running the same program for long enough that the acute adaptation phase is over. What's left is the slow accumulation of deficits that have nowhere to go. Your B12 clock, which started counting down on day 1, is somewhere around the 2 to 3 year mark before depletion, meaning you're probably fine for B12 during this experiment. But if you continued past the year, the neurological symptoms would begin. Tingling in the hands and feet, balance problems, memory issues, irreversible nerve damage if left untreated long enough. You're not there yet, but you can see it from here. Something interesting is happening with your energy levels, though. By month 8, many people in extended elimination diets report a kind of strange steadiness. Not vitality, not the kind of energy that makes you want to go for a run, but a low-level, even, consistent energy that doesn't spike and crash the way it used to. Your blood sugar regulation has become extremely efficient. Your body has had months of practice managing exactly this kind of carbohydrate load. Your immune system, by month 8, is quieter than it should be. Not dangerously suppressed, but running below capacity. Zinc and iron, both absent from a banana-only diet in meaningful quantities, are essential for immune cell production and function. Zinc, in particular, is required for the maturation of T cells, the immune cells that identify and destroy viruses and abnormal cells. Without adequate zinc, your immune response is slower, less precise. A virus that your immune system would normally dispatch in 3 days might linger for 6 or 7. You're not immunocompromised, but you're more vulnerable than you were on January 1st. Month 10. Let's zoom into something most people never think about: your eyes. Vitamin A, which comes in its active form, retinol, from animal sources, and in a precursor form, beta-carotene, from plants, is essential for producing a protein in your eyes called rhodopsin. Rhodopsin is what allows your eyes to function in low light. Without enough of it, night vision degrades. Bananas contain a small amount of beta-carotene. Your body converts it to vitamin A, but inefficiently. By month 10, on a banana-only diet with no other sources of vitamin A, some people would begin to notice the first signs of night blindness, difficulty adjusting when the lights go down, a longer transition period when moving from bright spaces to dim ones. A cardiologist looking only at your cardiovascular numbers might think you were thriving. This is a central paradox of the banana-only year. It is simultaneously a cardiovascular success story and a nutritional catastrophe, depending on which system you're measuring. Month 11 and 12, the final stretch. Your body has now been in this state for long enough that the changes are no longer acute, they're structural. The muscle mass you've lost doesn't come back quickly. The bone density you've slowly shed doesn't return overnight. The gut microbiome, now heavily dominated by a narrow range of species, will need months of varied eating to fully diversify again. The neural connections your brain stopped maintaining due to fatty acid deficiency, those take time. Here's what the full year reveals, honestly and completely. Some things genuinely improved. Your blood pressure dropped and stayed down. Your blood sugar regulation became remarkably efficient. Your digestive function, while narrow, became smooth and consistent. Some things stayed roughly the same. Your heart, your lungs, your liver, which is extraordinarily resilient, your basic cognitive function, not optimal but not broken. And some things quietly, invisibly, got worse. Your muscle mass, your bone density, your immune response, your night vision, your ability to absorb certain nutrients, your brain's structural raw materials, your gut's biodiversity. The body on day 365 is recognizably the same body as day 1. It survived, it adapted, it found a way. But it is not the same body. Not entirely. So here's the answer to the question we started with. What actually happens if you eat only bananas for a year? You survive. That's the honest answer. You survive, and in some ways you adapt in genuinely impressive ways. Ways that reveal just how sophisticated your body's resource management really is. The body on day 365 is recognizably the same body as day 1. It survived. It adapted. It found a way. But it is not the same body. Not entirely. The bigger principle this experiment exposes isn't about bananas. It's about the difference between a body that's coping and a body that's flourishing. Your body is extraordinarily good at coping. It will sacrifice the non-essential to protect the essential. That's the thing worth carrying out of this video. Your body is not a passive vessel. It is a negotiator. It is constantly making decisions, setting priorities, running calculations you can't see or feel. When you give it what it needs, it builds. When you don't, it copes. Bananas, for the record, are excellent. Eat them. Just also eat everything else.